1. The Long Island Serial Killer. The Long Island Serial Killer, or LISK, haunts the shores of Gilgo Beach, New York. For years, the sandy stretch of Ocean Parkway hid a gruesome secret: the bodies of at least 10 victims, mainly women who advertised as escorts online. When police searched for missing woman Shannon Gilbert in 2010, they discovered the grisly dumping grounds. Gilbert's death remains controversial accident or murder, but her case exposed a chilling truth. Victims were often wrapped in burlap, suggesting premeditation and control. In 2023, Rex Heuermann was arrested and charged for several murders. Yet authorities have been clear: not all deaths are tied to him. Some believe LISK could be more than one person, operating over decades. Even with Heuermann behind bars, the dunes and marshes of Gilgo seem to whisper that someone else is still out there, watching, waiting for his next chance to kill. 2. The West Mesa Bone Collector. In 2009, a single dog unearthed horror in Albuquerque's West Mesa. Human bones led authorities to a burial site holding the remains of 11 women and 1 unborn child. These women, most involved in sex work, had vanished between 2003 and 2005, their disappearances largely ignored. Investigators believe the killer scouted vulnerable women, possibly during sex work transactions, and disposed of them in the barren desert. Suspects ranged from local gang members to a known serial rapist, yet no one has been charged. Urban expansion destroyed much of the original burial field, possibly erasing crucial evidence forever. Today, the dusty wasteland hides its secrets well. Many fear the killer simply moved elsewhere, free to repeat his dark pattern without fear of capture. 3. The Colonial Parkway Killer. Between 1986 to 1989, lovers' lanes became death traps along Virginia's Colonial Parkway. Young couples were brutally murdered, strangled, stabbed, or drowned. Their cars were often staged to make death seem accidental, but the brutality told another story. Authorities at one point considered whether it was one killer or a group mimicking each other. Some theories suggest the killer may have impersonated law enforcement to gain victims' trust. The isolated, wooded beauty of the Colonial Parkway is now shrouded in dread. Decades later, the FBI holds on to DNA evidence, but has yet to make a definitive match. Family members of victims, now aging, wonder if the killer still walks among them, someone ordinary in appearance, yet capable of monstrous acts. 4. The Highway of Tears Killer. British Columbia's Highway 16 has a name that drips with sorrow: the Highway of Tears. Since 1970, more than 80 women and girls, many indigenous, have vanished or been found murdered along its desolate stretches. Despite government inquiries and promises, the crisis remains unresolved. Some cases have been linked to known serial killers, but many remain open, with strong suspicions that multiple predators use the remoteness of the highway to their advantage. Systemic racism and lackluster police investigations only fueled the tragedy. Victims are often brushed aside, their families left to organize their own searches. It's terrifying to realize that today, drivers could pass a killer on the highway smiling politely, hiding their dark urges, waiting for the next vulnerable soul to cross their path. 5. The Jennings 8 Killer. In Jennings, Louisiana, 8 women tied to the same rough network of drugs, sex work, and police informants were found dead between 2005 and 2009. The official narrative is that the women died from overdoses or accidents, but forensic evidence, missing reports, and injuries tell another story. Allegations of police misconduct and outright corruption muddy the waters. Some witnesses even reported threats and intimidation when they tried to speak out. Journalist Ethan Brown's investigations exposed connections between victims, police, and local power players, suggesting an uncomfortable possibility: the killer or killers might have worn a badge. The true danger in Jennings isn't just a predator on the loose, it's the terrifying thought that the system itself may have been complicit in the deaths. 6. The Chicago Strangler. Over 50 women, mainly black women from vulnerable communities, have been strangled to death in Chicago since 2001. The killings share disturbing similarities: victims dumped in alleys, abandoned houses, or trash bins, signs of sexual assault, and sometimes deliberate posing of bodies. For years, police treated these murders as isolated events, even as the patterns screamed otherwise. Activists and data analysts pushed back, uncovering unmistakable evidence of a serial killer's footprint. Despite renewed efforts, no official task force has been fully committed to the case. The Chicago Strangler may still walk the streets, empowered by indifference. In the city's forgotten corners, where violence is routine and cries for help are often ignored, he blends into the shadows unnoticed, unchallenged, and undefeated. 7. The Stockton Serial Killer. In 2022, the city of Stockton, California, became a hunting ground for a serial killer whose methods sent shockwaves through the community. Over the course of several terrifying months, 6 men were ambushed and gunned down while walking alone at night in poorly lit areas. Each attack seemed random, each victim caught entirely off guard. Fear spread rapidly, with people avoiding nighttime walks and gatherings. Then came a chilling development. A 7th victim, a woman, survived after being shot multiple times. Her harrowing survival gave investigators a crucial lead. The shootings all showed a haunting pattern: late-night ambushes, no robbery, and no clear connection among the victims, suggesting a killer who sought death for its own sake. In October 2022, after intensive surveillance, police arrested Wesley Brownlee. He was caught while allegedly hunting for his next target, wearing dark clothing, a mask, and carrying a firearm. Ballistics tied him to the previous murders. Though Brownlee faces charges, detectives have been cautious, warning that not all questions have been answered. Could he have killed before? Did he act completely alone? Some investigators even suspect the possibility of undiscovered victims stretching back farther than the known spree. For Stockton, the immediate threat may have ended with his capture, but the fear he unleashed lingers. The full scope of his darkness may never be fully uncovered. 8. The Freeway Phantom. In the early 1970s, Washington, D.C. was gripped by terror as a killer targeted young black girls aged 10 to 18. Dubbed the Freeway Phantom, he abducted, raped, and murdered his victims, dumping their bodies along local highways. In a chilling taunt, he left a note on the body of Brenda Woodard, mocking police incompetence. Despite numerous suspects, including criminal gangs, the real killer was never caught. Some theories suggest the Phantom could have been a police officer, given how easily he evaded capture. The murders stopped as suddenly as they began, but the memories linger. Decades later, families still demand answers while wondering if the Phantom simply aged out of killing, now living an anonymous, comfortable life, a monster hiding behind the mask of normalcy. 9. The Bruce McArthur Murders. Between 2010 and 2017, Toronto's LGBTQ+ community was haunted by disappearances that seemed to vanish without a trace. Many believed a serial killer was at work, but police downplayed the fears for years. It wasn't until 2018 that the horrifying truth emerged. Bruce McArthur, a seemingly ordinary landscaper, was arrested after police discovered he had been preying on vulnerable men he met through dating apps and in the Church Wellesley neighborhood. Investigators later found dismembered body parts hidden in planters at homes where McArthur worked. In total, he was charged with 8 counts of first-degree murder, though some believe the true number of victims could be higher. McArthur's ability to hide in plain sight, a respected gardener, a quiet neighbor, made the betrayal even more chilling. He carefully targeted men who were marginalized, often immigrants or men estranged from their families, knowing their disappearances would raise less alarm. Even after his arrest, questions linger. Were there more victims in earlier decades? Did McArthur have accomplices or knowledge of other dark secrets within Toronto's underbelly? Though McArthur has been sentenced to life in prison, the depth of his crimes and the devastating impact on Toronto's LGBTQ+ community has left permanent scars. For many, the fear and mistrust he sowed will never fully disappear. 10. The Rainbow Maniac. Between 2007 and 2008, Pituras Park in São Paulo, Brazil, transformed from a gathering spot into a chilling death zone. 13 men, all believed to be part of the LGBTQ+ community, were found brutally murdered. Each victim was shot point-blank in the head, their bodies left abandoned in the thick underbrush. Fear and outrage swept through the community as it became clear these were not isolated incidents, but the work of a calculating, cold-blooded killer. Witnesses described seeing an older man arguing with some victims shortly before shots rang out, but no clear suspect emerged.